KSMO with our second group of students this morning, and this group is a little unique in that it is all first-year ag education students. Ag education is the program that we offer throughout the state of Missouri in about 250 high schools or so, where students can enroll anywhere from the 9th to 12th grade in different courses in ag education. I'm going to ask these six to introduce themselves, tell a little bit about their background. If you want to tell folks who your parents are, that'll be fine as well. And so I'll just let you all start off telling your name and a little bit about yourself. Whoever wants to start. We'll make the girls go first. Boys, is that your plan? All right, the boys are going to make the girls go first. Paisley?
I'm Paisley Decker. This is my first year in ag. And yeah.
Doesn't want to tell you another thing about herself at this point, but Paisley we'll share more as we go along. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm Grace Kerr. My parents are Jack Kerr and Shelley Kerr. I've lived in Salem my whole life, and this is my first year in ag.
Okay, very good.
My name's Tanner Shepard. My parents are Shayla and Zach Shepard. This is my first year in FFA, and I'm excited to see how it goes in further years.
Right.
My name's Waylon Powell. My mom and dad is Jackie and Stacy Powell. I've lived in Salem pretty much my whole life, and this is my first year in ag.
I'm a first-year ag student. My parents are Joel and Dottie Steelman, and I'm looking forward to the next couple of years.
And you have a name, right?
Alton May.
I'm sorry, Alton, didn't intend to embarrass you, but yeah, sometimes we forget some of those important things. All right, last one.
My name's Jackson Harris. I'm 15 years old. It's my first year in ag education. My parents are Kathy and Mitchell Harris.
Okay. We'll move to asking you, why did you decide to enroll in ag education? What was the motivation that helped you make that decision? And one thing I usually say on the way over is sometimes it's best to go first in answering the questions, because then somebody else you may not sound like you're repeating what somebody else said. So who would like to go first? Why did you enroll in ag education? Jackson wants to go first.
I enrolled because they offered a welding class. It doesn't start till around your junior year, but you have to take previous classes in order to join.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's one of my future career, one of the future careers I want to do, look into growing up. So I thought, well, they have a class going on at R80, then I can just get some experience a little beforehand.
Okay. Your career goal actually led you into taking the ag education classes program. Okay? Who's next? Go ahead, Tanner.
I enrolled in ag to learn more about modern agriculture and the ways they're using technology now for farming, and also about welding. That's one of my career choices too.
Mechanical interest. Good. All right. Who wants to be next?
I enrolled in ag for the characteristics. I'm in FFA, and the characteristics they teach you, like leadership, teamwork, and those life skills that are important in the career field.
Very well stated, Alton. Very well stated. Okay. And those will come about as you progress through the ag education program. Girls, or Waylon, whoever. Why did you decide to enroll in ag education?
I enrolled in ag because I want to learn more about the animals and the plants, and I feel like it'd be FFA is a good career path for a lot of people, so.
Yeah, a lot of opportunities career-wise under that umbrella called agriculture. All right. Still got a couple to tell why you decided to enroll in ag education.
I enrolled because I thought it'd just be a good way to set me up for life, just give me some money and stuff.
Oh, all right. That's good motivation too. Paisley?
I enrolled in ag because it helps you get out of your shell and talk more in front of people, and there's a lot of public speaking and stuff in it. And I think it'll just help for the future.
Good points too, because communication is always going to be part of life, whether it's verbal or written or whatever the case might be. So you all had some different reasons, and I've had some students come into this program and say, well, I just went through all the courses available, and this was the only one left I had any interest in. So we get lots of different explanations of why students decide to take the ag education program. All right, and as I've already said, most of these are FFA members, but as first-year members, sometimes they option not to be FFA members, and along the way they decide to become part of that. So far as you've come through the ag education program and FFA for the most part, what's been some of your favorite activities, and why did you really like that particular activity? What you've been involved in so far?
Well,
Jackson, go ahead.
all right. Well, for me personally, I did not join FFA, but I mean, I personally have found fun in not do. I mean, not to say you shouldn't join it. I mean, I think everyone should. It just wasn't for me. But one of the best things that I've done so far is the FFA week, Drive Your Tractor School Day. I saw it as one of the entrances to driving any vehicle to school whatsoever. Even though I don't have a permit license, whatever. I thought it was fun. I wanted to do it.
All right.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Good activity as well. All right, somebody else.
My favorite thing was probably Farm Fest. It was back a couple months ago. But you go and there's trucks and all kinds of new designs and bush hogs, tractors, all kinds of stuff.
And for those that are not familiar with Farm Fest, that's down at Springfield, right? You all went down, and now there is a world of different ag enterprises, equipment. It's quite a big show. It sure is. All right, someone else.
Some of the activities I've been included in is probably my favorite is the Green Hand meeting in Mountain Grove. I just like seeing all those other FFA members from other towns in our area coming together, and it just shows you how FFA ties us all together.
Yeah, quite widespread and quite an opportunity for you. All right, anyone else like to share a favorite activity?
I did beef
Paisley?
days.
Go ahead.
I did beef days with we went out to the commons and we let I think they were third graders around. And we got to be in groups with them and just teach them about different animals and things on the farm all day. And it was fun.
What are some of the other things besides animals that were part of beef days? And anybody can add in on answering that.
There was forestry.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was like lawnmowers and tractors.
Yeah.
Safety for those pieces of farm equipment. Okay.
Mine was probably Farm Fest because you got to go and see a lot of tractors and all the cool stuff. And then afterwards, we went to the Springfield Underground, and we could like see all that was kept in there and like how cold it got in there because it's like below freezing. It was just cool.
That's quite an opportunity. I've never been there, but I've heard about it, and you know, the fact that you folks have had that option, that opportunity, that's cool, and it's cool in itself, obviously. All right, anybody else got an activity that they mentioned? Well, we'll kind of change direction just a little bit. So far during your time in ag education, and for those of you that are FFA members, what have you found to be the most challenging part of ag education and or FFA?
For me personally, I think taking the creed was the hardest part. Just, well, even though it's a small thing, you're introduced to like mock speaking, formal speaking, even though it's just in front of your class. It still gets you nervous. I mean, who really wouldn't get nervous public speaking anyway? And the memorization on top of that, just challenge us a little bit.
It is a bit of a challenge. It only takes, if I remember right, it takes less than 2 minutes to say the FFA creed. Closer to 1 minute and 15 seconds, I think. But it's the first time that you get to get up in front of all those students in that class, and you've not been in class with all those before. We have students from R1, R2, R3, R4, R80, and here I've got to get up, and that kid over there, I didn't like him when we were back in the 8th grade, 7th grade, or wherever it was. But now I've got to stand up in front of them and share this philosophy of ag education and FFA, which is basically, if you stop and think about it, that's what it is. That's where we're coming from and what we really believe. Yeah, I know. How many I believes are there in the FFA creed?
How many paragraphs?
How many paragraphs?
5, I think.
How many I believes? Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
Five, I guess.
I think you're 6.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah, 6. Because one paragraph has two I believes in it. Go home into that. You know, old people have memory lapses, and I'm definitely old enough to have some memory lapses. What else have you found as challenging for you? You're an ag education FFA.
I mentioned earlier how FFA teaches you leadership, and coming in from a rural school, it was definitely hard to take that leadership role at first. Like saying the creed, going to meetings, making seconds or whatever. It really challenges you.
But the more you do that,
Oh yeah.
the more comfortable you are doing it, and you see more and more value being involved in those activities and doing those kinds of things. All right, anyone else?
Like Alden said, we came in from a rural school, so it's hard when you come from a smaller school to go into a bigger school and there's no one that you know. It's all new faces, and then you have to, like you said, talk to them, and you don't really know them. It's just a new experience.
All right, you're coming from different entities, 5 different schools. How has ag education and FFA helped you with that coming together, that assimilation into one unit? Or has it? You understand what I'm asking you?
It all gives us like one little out. Like we're all like one family, separate from the regular school. Like the ag department in general is like when you're in there, you're part of the ag family. So it just helps to bring us all together like that.
It just puts a different mindset up here, doesn't it?
We all have something familiar or in common.
Yep, all something in common. And most of the heads, for those of you listening on radio and not watching on the internet, most of the heads nodded in agreement to what Jackson said. So I think he was right on target. We'll move to talking about, and this is a little more of a difficult topic for first-year students because, well, we're in basically the midst of what we call contest season, career development events, leadership development events. Are any of you involved in some of the leadership development events or the career development events? You know, like livestock or agronomy or anything? None of you are? We're still wondering what those things are. Okay, that's all right. That's all right. I told you coming over, maybe I didn't tell this group, there are no wrong answers. You know, if you don't know an answer to a question, then your grade's not going to drop, that's for sure. You're going to get an A for being here today, let alone how well you do on air. So nobody here is involved in any of those contest teams, and that's fine. Well, let's try another topic then. There's some requirements to be in ag education. Besides reciting the creed, that's one of the ones that comes right out of the box the first thing out. You're also required to have a supervised agricultural experience, an SAE. Okay? So, and I realize at this stage in your education in ag, you may not have a ongoing active SAE. You may just have plans. But what are your plans, or what are you doing for an SAE? Someone want to go first?
Mine's a little out of the box, I feel like. I do have livestock, but I don't own it, so I couldn't use that for my SAE. So I chose to do one of my newfound hobbies. I like to 3D print. So, and since I own all the equipment and materials in order to run them, I can then use that as my SAE. So I plan to sell 3D prints to a certain price, obviously, and then just use that as my SAE.
So you're an entrepreneur in 3D printing, and that's going to be your SAE, at least to start
That's what I
with.
plan to.
And you do you probably, you mentioned you have some animals where you live. You probably do some chores and work with those as well, which also can be part of an SAE under the placement umbrella. So, of the others of you, what are you doing for your SAE?
I'm doing metal fabrication and welding.
Okay.
My dad owns a welding shop in Rolla, and so I'd say I will just be working for him this summer and just building stuff and selling it.
And doing it for something besides just maybe for Dad to pay or cleaning up for after Dad. So adding those skills. Excellent, Tanner. Okay.
I've got 2 bottle calves. I'm raising up, then I'm going to sell the babies off them.
Have you raised baby or bottle calves before?
Yep. I've raised some before and I've sold them.
Are you good at it?
I don't know.
Have you lost any?
Yeah, I've lost a couple.
Yeah.
They're hard to keep alive.
They are. It's a tough call. And sometimes you spend about a month taking care of them, and then they croak on you.
Yep.
And you've got all that investment and time and some in money, and it's just part of life. And so it's a good SAE, though. Very good one. A lot of labor involved. Absolutely. Okay. What else?
Speaking of the placement umbrella, I'm in a placement SAE with Midmo firewood products, and I'm really liking it. It's definitely a good experience, hard work. So,
Okay, elaborate just a little bit. Tell us a little more about what you're doing.
Well, I'm usually wrapping firewood. We sell bundles, running the skid steer, stuff like that.
Okay. Girls?
I have a placement SAE. I work at Salem Gymnastics Mondays and Tuesdays. And paid.
Okay. At Salem what?
Salem Gymnastics.
Oh, Salem Gymnastics.
Yeah, we help like little kids do gymnastics.
Yeah. Excellent.
I also have a placement SAE at Salem Gymnastics too.
Oh.
So
do we work at the same time?
yes.
Oh, okay. I guess that can be good and that can be bad. We'll just leave it at that. All right. So everybody's got either plans or got an ongoing SAE at this point. And this is something that's really changed over the years. I know I'm older than dirt, and when I started teaching, basically everybody it was cows, plows, and sows. And you say, what do you mean? Everybody had either beef cattle, hogs, or they had raised some kind of crops. And over the years, it's really grown in terms of different kinds of SAE. And the placement SAE umbrella took more than the ownership. Almost all the students in ag education have some type of placement SAE. You may be doing firewood to help somebody else, but you live on a farm and you've got some responsibilities there on that farm that would work as part of your SAE as well. All right, I think we dealt with everybody's. Anything to add on that? All right. How do you feel ag education has benefited you? Ag Education FFA. And I know some of you already touched on this a little bit, but I'd like for everybody to share what benefits you feel like you've gotten out of being in ag education. And you can repeat some of what you've said before. I don't have a problem with that. Neither do our listeners or viewers. So just tell the folks what you think have been benefits to you as an individual being a part of the ag education program at Salem High School.
There's definitely, you have to talk to more people. Your voice has to be more open. Like you start conversations with people, you carry on a conversation. You can't just go up to them and say hi and move on. You go up and talk about what they're doing, what they have.
Especially if you want to develop a long-term relationship with that girl you're talking to, right? All right, I hope I didn't, and I might have embarrassed Tanner a little bit there.
All right.
I'm sure you go talk to the girls and boys alike, so that's fine. All right, somebody else. Benefit to you. Jackson?
It gives you important life skills that you're mostly going to use along the way, like with the public speaking. Now, there's several jobs you don't need it, but there are several jobs where you do need it, and it gives you those skills that you need for future careers and just life in general.
even being a welder, you're going to need to do some verbal communication, aren't you? Yeah.
Especially
Absolutely.
safety.
All right. Others.
It gives you confidence to talk to people. Like, you start talking to people better than like you did before you joined, because you got to talk to all kinds of people.
Sure do.
It's definitely helped me step out of my bubble, my comfort zone. It's helped me to take on that leadership role, to try to be involved more, not care what people think about you.
You just got to have the confidence to get out there and do it, don't you? Benefits, girls?
I think it helps you come out of your shell a lot, and like I'm shy and I don't like talking in front of people, but
Oh, we'd never dreamt that.
and like when we did the creed, it was just in front of our class, but it still kind of helped.
Oh, I understand totally. Yeah, kids, go ahead.
I've gained a lot of confidence through like speaking, like public speaking, through ag and saying the creed. It helps you a lot.
Important points to add to one's school abilities, knowledge, all those kinds of things in ag education. FFA as well, if you're involved in it. Okay, everybody here is first year ag student. Most of you are ninth graders. I don't know whether is everybody ninth grader?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just think about what if we had the opportunity next week to talk to a group of eighth graders that were preparing to enroll for this fall's school year. What would you share with them about ag education?
Definitely have to be willing to work. You can't just go in there and mess around. You have to go in and get your work done, and then you do the fun stuff.
We don't like to work. Now I say that, and I'm kind of wanting to play a little bit of the devil's advocate. What do you say then? We don't like to work. Because you're going to get some smart-aleck kid that says to you that very thing if you get to talking to them and give them, there's always somebody's going to speak up among the group. We don't like to work.
They just don't do ag. If you're not ready to work.
No. You do the work.
Yeah,
But why do you do the work?
it's better for my future.
Oh, it's better for your future. That's a big part of it. You're right. But do you do work that you don't enjoy in ag education?
Not really.
No, not really. Now, maybe you don't enjoy it as much as going with a bunch of your friends and doing something else, going to Montauk fishing, something like that. But you still enjoy that family attitude, that family feeling that we're all part of this one big group, and you're willing to go on and do the work. I wasn't trying to pin you down at all, Tanner. Don't take it that way. I'm just thinking, yeah, it's work. But here you are. Let's see. We are almost to the end of third quarter. We're kind of
this
pushing
week.
it. This week?
Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday.
Oh my gosh. Third quarter. You only got a quarter of your ninth grade year left. Where'd it go? Did you enjoy it?
Mhm.
Yeah, their heads, for those of you on radio, their heads are all bobbing up and down, in the positive that they've enjoyed that work they've had to do. Maybe not at the moment it was occurring, but then later looking back, it's kind of like the creed. Paisley made a good point. I'm real shy. I don't like to get up there and talk in front of a group, but I had to do it. And it's helped get me a little more comfortable in speaking in front of a group. What else would you tell those eighth graders? Or are there other things? Tanner, good response.
I'd absolutely encourage it, especially if you're shy or really self-conscious about yourself. It really helps you to just overcome that.
And if it's not your cup of tea, what do you do after the first year? You don't come back in the ag program.
It's
Not everybody not all of your classmates in Ag 1 are going to be back in Ag 2 next year. Just the way it'll be. Sometimes you just have to try. I actually had a parent one time, and this was, you guys have kind of talked about some non-traditional Ag involvement. And I had parent whose son actually wasn't a traditional ag student, didn't come from a farm, even though back generations his grandpa had a farm. And that parent told me after his son had gone through 3 years, I believe it was, of ag at the time, he said every student ought to have to take Ag 1 just to see what it was like to learn that discipline, to learn some confidence, to open up a little bit outside of our shells like you've talked about, getting more comfortable in what they're doing. Have y'all done record keeping yet?
We're doing it now.
We're doing it now.
Yeah, right now.
Are you loving it?
Kind of hard.
Kind of hard, Waylon says.
It's definitely a learning curve, I'd say, in these terms.
Well, it's a necessary item. You have to develop that skill, particularly in some of the occupations' future plans. We haven't really delved much into y'all's future plans, but again, it's ninth graders outside of Jackson who has that career goal after high school. Do others of you have career goals for after high school? We're still
Not
working on
specific,
that.
no.
That's all right. Hey, but keep this in mind. We just talked about how fast your ninth grade, 3/4 of your ninth grade years gone. Before you know it, we'll see those, be able to hear those graduation ceremonies, and it'll be here too quick. You don't have to have everything nailed down what you're going to do in life, but you have to have a general direction. Can't be just all over the place. And some people are, you know. They're not you guys. They're the other folks. All right. Anything you'd like to add here as we're winding down?
Career goals, what do you mean by that? Like,
Well, you've already mentioned, I think, kind of what yours is. You kind of see yourself maybe moving into that machine shop area that your dad has, that welding. Maybe that's something that you'll learn enough about. You say, yeah, this is what I want to do, or you learn it's not what you want to do for your career. And, you know, people's career goals change. It's the way life works out. So, I could go on a long story, but it took me 12 years of secondary education, 2 years of college before I decided on being an ag education instructor. Then I wound up doing it for 41 years. So sometimes it just takes a while in life to find out what direction you need to go. But you have to have some, at least, general direction. General direction, I want to be involved in agriculture in the future. Not sure what area. And I'm speaking to all of you in generalities right now, obviously. You guys have done an excellent job. It's tough for first-year students. You don't have quite as much background in history and ag education and FFA to share with the listeners, but you've done very, very well, and I appreciate that. I've asked for somebody to volunteer to read and recognize a group of our sponsors of this time for FFA Day on KSMO, and Tanner volunteered to do that, so Tanner, go ahead.
our sponsors of FFA are Roberts Justin Lumber Company, Salem Farm and Equipment, Southtown Furniture, City of Salem, the Bank of Salem, Brandy Bear Law Office and LLC, Napa Auto Supply, Rocking G Trading Post, Family Trust Service.
Okay, excellent job, guys, and I'm going to now turn the microphone back over to Stan. So, Stan, take it away.